Okay, so you give up. I mean, what does that mean?
Well, it means I give up. The fight's over. You win, Rebecca replied with a cheery smile.
I don't think I'm ever going to understand women.
No, probably not. We're pretty confusing.
Okay. You do realize that I still have a friend fighting your sister, right?
Oh yeah, they are doing that, right? Rebecca said as she started looking around, trying to get a gauge on where her sister might be, as we heard some distant explosions going off. Oh, there they are. It sounds like they're still at it. Well, we can at least go watch.
Watch?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, our fight's over.
Are you sure you're not playing some sort of trick? Like this isn't just a gag reel, so you can go team up with your sister?
Why would I do that? I mean, really, it would only just add up to you teaming back up with your friend again. So we'd basically be in the exact same situation we're already in. It wouldn't mean anything.
Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. Well, I guess the fight's over. So, yeah, I guess let's go check on my friend and your sister. Make sure they're not killing each other.
Well, frankly, I don't really care about your friend, even if my sister does kill him.
Well, he is a nice guy. That's a little cold, if you ask me.
Well, I'm not much for killing myself, but my sister doesn't have a problem with it. And I don't really have any feelings for your friend one way or the other. It's not going to affect my destiny. But no teaming up, you hear me? The fight's one-on-one. My sister versus your friend. If you get involved, I'll have to get involved too. And we both know where that leads. Right? She said, staring across from me, putting her hands on her hips and leaning in my direction.
Yeah. But with one little caveat. What happens if your sister tries to kill my friend? I mean, I understand if she beats him, but I'm not just going to stand around and watch him die.
I suppose not. You do seem like the kind of guy who would do that. Well, I'll give you one caveat. You can intervene only in order to save his life. But if you intervene, he loses by default. My sister wins, and you two pack it up and go home. Deal?
Yeah, I replied. It sounds like a reasonable enough deal. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to make the goal we set out for ourselves when we first showed up.
Oh yeah, killing my mom. I forgot about that. Well, you wouldn't have been able to do that anyways.
Is your mom really that strong? I mean, seriously, fighting you was a nightmare. Are you seriously telling me that even with both of us, if we hadn't run into you...
Yeah, you'd be dead. Like, really, really dead. First, they're scary. Then, there's terrifying. And then, above that, there's my mom. Trust me, you lucked out running into us instead.
Yeah, I guess so,
I said, as the heavy metal spirit seemed to separate from my form, turning once again into its gelatinous figure, and standing beside me, looking at me curiously. So, are you gonna unsummon that thing? Rebecca asked.
Well, I don't think I can. I think it's just alive now. Once again, this is my first time doing this. The rules as I understand them is that it's just alive now. It's not something that I can send away,
I said as I looked back at the creature. And suddenly, it sort of melded its head into the shape of a normal head, with sort of eye cavities and a mouth cavity that seemed to be opening. It would widen and then shrink the cavity of its mouth while it was looking at me.
You wanna talk?
I asked, looking in its direction, as it began to shake its head, back and forth, indicating that wasn't what I was trying to say. Wow, so that thing is trying to communicate with you.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get. It understands my intentions. It can read my thoughts, but the process doesn't seem to work both ways. I can't read its thoughts or intentions, and it doesn't seem to be able to speak.
At that point, the heavy metal spirit got sort of a disgruntled look on its gelatin face, like it was upset, as it reached out and began tapping my mask with its hand.
My helmet?
I said, looking back at it, as it shook its head up and down to confirm that that's what it was saying. Something about my helmet. At that point, its head began to mold into the shape of my helmet, an exact duplicate, at which point the jaw unhinged and swung open, the same way I do when I release the heavy metal fluid from inside of me.
You want me to open my jaw?
I said as I looked in its direction, and it continued to open and close the mouthpiece before its head shifted back to its normal state.
All right,
I said as I gave a bit of focus, opening the jaw piece and once again unlatching it so that there was a clear shot to me on the inside. And in a sudden rush of motion that was honestly fairly disturbing, I suddenly found the entire heavy metal spirit rushing into my mask and back down without me giving the order to do so. It just rushed down. Have you ever tried to down an entire carton of milk about 20 times? Yeah, like that. All very, very quickly. I'm just gonna say it was uncomfortable as it slid its way down, dissipating inside of me. As the process was finally over, and I coughed a bit.
Oh, that was unexpected. Okay, I wish I would have gotten some warning about that.
Ew, did you just eat it?
Well, kinda,
I replied, bending down to my knees a bit, still trying to shake it off.
It was more like forced consumption. I didn't really have that much of a say in the matter. I mean, normally I take it back in, but it's a my will thing. I mean, why would it even want to?
You really only have yourself to blame, I heard Nylea's voice pick up, saying to me in somewhat of a condescending tone. Remember, the heavy metal spirit, as you call it, is imbued with the memory and essence of all the different ways that you've used the heavy metal. Your intentions, goals, ideas and beliefs, and practical uses. You made it a point to start storing the heavy metal fluid inside of you. So, by dint, it's used to staying inside of you and only coming out when it's needed. To it probably thinks that that's normal, where it's supposed to go. Most likely where it feels the most comfortable. Basically, serving no more purpose, it went home. And home just happens to be inside of you.
Yeah, starting to get that. But I do wish I would have gotten a little bit more warning. I've got to teach that thing to talk. Maybe communicate a bit.
Alright, now that you've got that over, how about you and me go check up on my sister and your friend? No need to rush things. We can take a gentle stroll. Maybe we can talk a bit while we're at it, Rebecca said as she began to calmly approach, with a cheerful smile that had just a bit of mischievousness to it, as she closed in, sweeping her arm under mine. Right this way, sir. I'll be your guide on this tour of Rebecca's Maid Space.
she said, smiling up to me, as she clung tightly to my arm.